So here we are in shed number
5. Number 5. We call it the Linda Building. And the reason we call it the Linda Building is because my wife Linda, she realized that there was really a demand for discontinued lures, and that we could centralize it to make it more visible to the customers. So that's what's happened. She footed the bill. She was the bank, and I pay her back. So we just don't have interest. That's all. So I named it after her because of that and her willingness, because she always for years would only let me have 4 buildings. And the previous shows that we've had here, that was kind of mentioned, I think. So now we have building 5, which we call the Linda Building. Anything about discontinued lures is referred to as the Linda Building. Everything is in the Linda Building. And my customers think that is the coolest darn thing. And when their wives come, well, how nice of you to give her the recognition. Oh, heck yeah. So we now have the Linda Building here, and we've had a lot of folks that when they come, my regular customers, everybody makes a tour, a stop through the Linda Building, and it's pretty darn consistent that they will find something. They will find something and they'll buy it. And then the other part of that is they're so impressed the fact that, oh my gosh, that's discontinued? I had no idea. And so they take advantage of it and buy that lure.
Retro bassin', kicking some ass and wearing rayon jackets. Thinking about Bill Dance, watching these fish prance through my Ray-Ban glasses. Ain't nothing better than 40-year-old lures coming off of Zepco 33. Out on the bass boat, making beer cans float, doing some trespassing. Fishing it old school, this old stuff rules. Welcome to Retro Bassin.
Welcome to Retro Bassin. As you know, one of my favorite things to do on this channel is visit local private tackle shops like the Tackle Box in Clarksville, Tennessee. Well, today will be a Retro Bassin first because we're actually here for the 3rd time. We did 2 great episodes at Walt Herman's at-home tackle box, which until today has had 4 different sheds, all dedicated to different bass fishing tackle, a lot of it discontinued retro baits. Well, today I'm standing in front of shed number 5. For years, Walt said his wife Linda only would allow him to have 4 sheds on property. However, I think after some pretty insane response from the Bass and Bud community, well, she acquiesced and even funded this shed. So what we're about to step into is a retro lures only shed. I'm gonna have a hard time leaving stuff on the peg here because I already took a quick walkthrough to kind of get my bearings, and man, I gotta tell you, this little shed is packed with some old school gold. So we're gonna step on inside, talk to Walt a little bit more, and I'm gonna give you a quick rundown of some of the various discontinued items that you can find here at the Tackle Box.
We still continue to have people that see your shows and they scroll through and they come across secret tackle store with, you know, discontinued baits, and they go, wow, we're going to be up in that area. Let's stop by. And they do. I just had a couple from Alabama that came up this past week, and same storyline. They happened to be up this way after they saw your video, and they said, wow, we got to stop in there. And they walked out with about $150 worth of stuff. And I said, are you going to use it? He says, no, it's just fun, you know, and they some use it, some don't. So we're still having that same type of thing happen where people from around the country are seeing the video first, and they'll call, they'll want to know directions, or they just show up and say, hey, I saw you on Retro Bass, and you do, and wow, you got a whole brand new building. Yeah, and it's just, so I don't have to go through all the buildings if I don't want to? No, you don't have to. It's all one location now. Mark Menendez kind of was the first person I got the discontinued lures from. He gave me, I bought 515 pieces. And his were predominantly jerk baits, because he fishes Kentucky Lake, and he had several other brands, Normans and so on. So I helped him get rid of those, if you will. And then I had a fella call who had a bunch of Rebels. And I bought those Rebels from him as a starter. And then when I went to Florida in November, I got the Sabre jigs from Nichols. They were no longer going to have them, so they discontinued them. And then I went online to Gambler and Tackle Warehouse and found to see what they were closing out. And then I would call the company and say, is this for real? In other words, are you going to discontinue them? And they would tell me yes or no. So I would get the products from them. Some of the companies, well, every one of them said, just give us a call periodically and we'll let you know what we're going to no longer manufacture. So it's just a matter of me, when I get to space, I will call those companies and they'll tell me, and I'll just buy whatever amount I want. So that's been the prime thing. And then the other part too is now my customers as a source for discontinued. And I'm finding out that a lot of my customers, in fact, I sold them these lures 20 years ago and they just collected them or kept them and they just don't use them anymore. So they'll come over here and we'll negotiate a price for what they have. So it's a win-win for everybody. They get a little bit, I get a little bit, and the general public as a whole says, oh wow, I can still get these.
All right, well, I just stepped inside shed number 5. We're going to give you a really quick walkthrough of this place. I could literally spend hours here, and I just cannot do that today. But I'm going to take some pictures, I'm going to do some footage, and hopefully give you guys a pretty good idea of what is on the peg here at the tackle box. So walking in the shed here, I'm going to start over to the right and then go around the perimeter of this bad boy. Man, there's going to be a lot of good stuff here. Okay, well, as soon as you walk into shed number 5, I noticed something very different, and that is a huge wall of Nichols Sabre swim jigs. Talking to Walt, this is a discontinued bait from Nichols, a good looking jig. It's a swim jig, and he's got a variety of different sizes and also colors. So something Walt's been doing, he'll call tackle companies that are still in business, but if you've got a particular lure or style they're discontinuing, he's going to go ahead and scoop up as many of those as he can for the Linda shed. So here is a giant wall of mostly Sabre swim jigs. I also see some sledgehammers there as well. Moving on, we've got some net baits down here in a bucket. Looks like this is the big 11-inch C-Mac worm. I remember that dude. Some big old ribbon tails there. Moving on, we've got some Lucky Strikes. Looks like a frog. I'm not actually familiar with that, but that's interesting. The old Chris Lane live motion Lucky Strike. Got some Savage gear here. And now we're starting to get into the hard baits. And check out all these hard baits. Well, first off, I noticed some Rebels up here. There's a ton of Rebels in the tackle box these days. And this is all that's left of the Stan Sloan Zorro Aggravator spinnerbaits. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 of them. And there probably won't be 12 when I'm done with this video, but that is crazy. If you recall the first tackle box video we did, it was a giant wall of aggravators. Now that's all that's left. All right, we're gonna go ahead and look at the top shelf first and then move on down. So we've got some more hard baits here, just a kind of a variety of some different stuff. Here we go, some Lee Sisson lures. Got some Cordell spots. Ooh, got some more Rebels. Man, there are some really cool Rebels here. And then up here, look at this. A whole giant row of Smithwick Rogues. I remember these. I think these came from the Mark Menendez collection. Some good looking Rogues for sure. And then moving on down, got some Strike King jerkbaits as well, the old Wild Shiner. Ooh, Spro Fat Papa Walker. So not necessarily all old school stuff, but all definitely discontinued stuff. A nice Jabberjaw crankbait from 13th Fishing. I didn't even know that was discontinued. I've heard about the Jabberjaw. Huh. Who knew? Ooh, look at this. Some Mann's baits. Those are always tough. Oh, look at that. The old 15 plus. I love that color, by the way. That is my favorite OG color of all time. Oh. All right, and here we've got some other loose baits. All old school crankbaits. Looks like a lot of bombers. Oh, I'm not sure it's a screw tail or not, but I think it might be. Some Strike King topwaters here. And look at that, the old Spence Scout. Some more Rebels. Woo! Look at that dude. I mean, you could just go through and spend hours and hours looking at all the old baits here. Oh, this is so cool. Some Rick Clunn baits. We've got some Rapalas. The old Down Deeps. Some bombers. What the heck is this? Why are there two bombers in this case? I have no idea. All these have two bombers. Why is that? Striper A extra deep. Huh. But there's 2 packs of bombers. That's the craziest thing. Got some more bombers here. And now we'll get into the Rebels. Man, a ton of great Rebel deep WeRs. Or the mini WeR. Oh, that's the mini. That's the big one. More Rebels. Just so many Rebels. Oh my goodness. Yeah, Walt said he got into some Rebels, and he definitely did. There are a ton of Rebels here. Ooh, look at that. The old Naturalized. Oh man, that's a tough one. And the Naturalized, look at that. The Rainbow Trout. So just a ton of Rebels. More Rebels. Finally getting into some other stuff. We've got some Bill Normans here. The old DD22, I'm thinking. We've got some Plumber Frogs. Whole bunch of those. What is this? Some spoons? Like Strike Kings, I think. Oh, I know what that is. Old Dance's Eel. And ooh, look at that color. Ooh, Dance's Crawl. Now this one is interesting. You don't see as many of these at all. Dance's Crawl. Huh. I'm gonna have to snag a few of those because man, I've got a couple that I want to do an episode on with this bait. That is really cool. For $5.99. All right, moving on, we've got a boatload of old school pork still left, including this one, the old number 11 pork frog, the classic, in a glitter frog pattern. What else? We have twin tails, jumbo frogs, more twin tails. Man, this is just wall number 1. And now look at all these old school plastics. Too much to even go through. But there is definitely some stuff that you will not see anywhere else. Like this old zipper tail. Or zipper worm, I think that's called. All right, so we got to move on. Otherwise, we'll never get out of here. So next one, we've got some discontinued baits from Spro. Fat Jack's Bass Lures, 11-inch ribbon tail. That might come just because I just love that packaging, and that would be a fun one to fish with. Here's some more Rapalas, bombers, booyahs, a little bit of everything. More Rapalas here. Man, some hoppies. He's got a lot of hoppy stuff, by the way. Some bandits. Oh, there's Bill Dance. with his Riverside button eye minnow and Dance's Buzz. Nice. And then into some soft plastics. Ah, old school power bait. And by the way, I bet those smell like the old school power baits. Looks like this is a 5-inch shaky worm, a 7-inch sickle-tail worm, 7-inch sickle-tail worm. Ooh, nice sort of red shad with a green fleck on that one. This is really cool. So look at how this is organized. So you can actually see these baits just kind of laying on here. Some of these are out of the package, like these traps. Some of them are in the package, like that old school Bayou Boogie, which is probably gonna come with. Woo! So just a ton more baits, a ton from Smithwick, Bomber, OG Bombers, look at that. And of course, just a ton of Rebels. I saw this one last time I was here. I love that color. Ooh, I see some Rebel Ultralights in there. Ooh, look at that, the chromed out Crick Popper. Ah, some discontinued baits, Hot Lips, very nice. Look at these Normans. Woo, the matte finish. That's a really fishable Norman. I might snag a couple of those guys. So what size is this? Does it say? It sure ain't the 22, I know that. Deep little N. Okay. So the DLN, 3/8 of an ounce, 2.5 inch. Line, 10-pound dives, 10 to 12 feet. Yeah, that one I absolutely could catch a bass on. So we got some baits here, some more, looks like 13 fishing jabberjaws. And ooh, look at that, some Bombers, the classic. All right, and a ton more soft plastics. I mean, you almost have to get down here to look at what they've got. Oh, look at that. Some Mann's Little George and some more. Ooh, he found a stash of those, didn't he? Discontinued Mann's, tough to find. And $7.99, that is not too bad of a deal on those. All right, so that is wall number 2, and now we're moving on to wall number 3. So up top, more soft plastics. For the life of me, I cannot figure out why these things are still here. The old Bill Dance Bomber Pro Fat A. Woo! It's a pretty good deal on that bait. That's a cool one. A 1/4 ounce crankbait. That's a money little bait, and looks like Walt still has 6 of them on the peg. Got some Mann's Dragon baits here, discontinued of course. And then look at all this stuff. These are 99-cent bags of worms. All kinds of worms in here for 99 cents. Oh, that is too cool. Ooh, look at that. Looks like an old slimy slug from Mr. Twister or something like that. I don't even know what that is. Again, guys, you're gonna have to come here and like literally take a day. More crankbaits on the bottom. More Rebels here. Some loose baits. I see some interesting ones. I see a Bagley's. I see the Whole Idea. I see an OG Rebel. Look at that. What the heck is that thing? Like somebody modified that one. Up here we've got some more Bombers. Looks like the old ones in the box. What the heck is this thing? Stanford Baits, the Boom Boom Frog. Huh. Okay, very cool. I don't even think I know that one. Probably after my time. And that is it for wall number 3. Now, before I get out of here, I do have to point to this. So Walt mentioned that Linda helped him decorate, and look at that awesome curtain, I guess hiding some stuff back here. Maybe the real secret stuff's back there. But that is pretty cool. So that's the loft area of the shed as well. In the center, we've got some more baits, of course. Ooh, look at that devil's horse. What the heck? Ooh, that's a good looking bait in a spotted ape. Huh. Just some loose baits here, a ton of crankbaits. In some really wild colors.
In fact, the last time you came here, I think we shouted up to her, hey Lynn, Can I have a building 5? And she was resistant, but when she finally understood that it was not a bad idea, she bought into it, and now she's very happy, and she even helped make the stuff. She made a curtain there, which you'll probably show, to cover the loft, and so she feels part of it now. She's put her touch to it, if you will. I got it at Taylor Storage here in town. It's over on Craft Street, and this building was just kind of sitting there, and I took into account I wanted it to look nice because Linda was going to always be looking at the front. And we found this one there, and it was used, and so we got about 30% off what it would have cost brand new. And brought it home and started doing the decorations inside.
I can't help but notice the pegboard's painted in a very retro bassin orange.
It was. In fact, I think I called you on that. And I also looked at the psychology of colors. What color tends to attract purchasing? And it came out to be orange. Orange shades is what prompts people to buy something. And this one is a, I can't remember it, but it's a salmon type of red. And it took several coats, but it came out good. I mean, all my customers, they like it too. I think it's a really neat color.
What's so crazy about the tackle box to me is even when I say that I've got like a firm 60 minutes here, boy, it invariably leaks into the couple-hour mark. And I have not even revisited the 4 other sheds on site. So suffice to say, I am so stoked that Walt went ahead and put in shed number 5. Even more thankful that Linda allowed him to do so. I cannot wait to see what kind of old school gold Walt finds for this retro shed. And you never know, maybe we'll come back and do part number 4 of the tackle box. I will drop all of the information for this place down below in the video description, including Walt's phone number. So go ahead, and if you see something on the peg that you gotta have, give him a call. In the meantime, if you guys are looking for some more old school content, you can click right here. Otherwise, I'll see you right back here. Until then, keep that carpet side up, and definitely fish it old school.
Fishing it old school, this old stuff rules. Welcome to Retro Bassin.